Let me open my documents again. Okay. So, we've established quorum. So we have 3 out of the 5. So I'll go ahead and call the Communications Committee meeting to order on Monday, January 13th at 6 p.m. And then Belinda, was the meeting properly noticed?
Yes.
Cool. First thing is, I'll go ahead and take a motion to approve the, we do need to correct this in the agenda of the December meeting minutes,
What did I write?
November.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Do I have a motion? Yeah, there's
It
a
was-
email on 1/6.
Yes. First one is the agenda. The second one is the minutes. So it should be the one that has a date of 12/2.
Yeah.
Okay. Fabiola, do you want a second? Okay, I didn't see anything that we needed updated. Did anyone else have anything?
No.
Okay, cool. Then I'll go ahead and call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So those have passed. So then we'll move into discussion items. So our first one is to welcome Stephanie Smith, who is the new marketing specialist. So Stephanie, give us I know you've been here for about a week now. Just give us a little bit about your background and what you're excited about.
Yeah, sure. So I have my degree in marketing and I've worked for both non-residential property managers before, as well as for small businesses in doing marketing. I've been here about a week and we've been really working on getting the business directory set up and making sure that that is all correct and proper for everybody. And then also reaching out to the different businesses within Celebration.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I'll add on to that. She's very quick. So she has gotten the directory, I would say probably 99% up current. We don't have new businesses. We were just getting current what was in there. So making sure that if they weren't existing, we took them out and anyone that was in there currently was updated. Then we also had a spreadsheet that has businesses. So she was working on also updating that and then co-matching them together. So now once she gets 100% complete, then it should be around the end of the month. And that's when she'll start going out and meeting with businesses. And then on top of that, she's been kind of the face behind the social media. I've kind of just, I review everything she's been doing, but I kind of put that off on her. And she's been a great, quick asset to the team. So it's been kind of nice having that support.
Great.
Yeah.
I know we already saw the link tree is done.
Yep.
All the social links or all the web links and things on social. So
Mhm.
it works. But yeah, we basically are here to support in any capacity in terms of communication strategy, guidance, advice, and just general celebration knowledge. So feel free to reach out whenever and someone will typically get back to you. But we're excited to have you here. It'll be nice for Belinda to have some additional support with everything.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
One of the things I can encourage you with, I tell this to everybody who's ever started a company that I've been involved with. You got about 6 months to make a mark, right? Maybe less. You're always going to do great work, even past 6 months, but it's those first 6 months when your fresh ideas, what you came with, you don't have any biases, you don't have any sacred cows, the stuff that we've done before, may have been have to be smart, et cetera, et cetera. So you bring those fresh eyes. So rather than just do what it seems to be like, whether anybody else says, this is what you need to do. Yeah, of course, I'll do what you, but don't miss the opportunity to say, have you thought about this? And have you thought about that? And why not this? Challenge. Because after 6 months, you kind of lose your newness. And now you're just one of us.
Mhm.
And then, not that you're, you know what I mean? You just
Yeah, no,
lose a little bit of that edge.
that's good advice.
So just don't be afraid to suggest and to rock the boat. In fact, the more you can rock the boat, the better.
Cool.
So,
Yeah, I would say definitely for Celebration Social, there's been a lot of shifts and changes. you'll see things too, like looking at the metrics, what's worked, what has definitely not worked, like making it fun and fresh, I think is something that a lot of people are looking to engage with, at least from what I've heard from neighbors and people. So yeah, have fun with it. And again, if you think of anything that you have questions about, like things that might have been happening in the past or things that we've heard about, just, yeah, let us know.
No, just to kind of be an advisement, she won't be joining us again probably until about June because we have elections coming up. I know Kanoa has some changes that they're working on that she's really going to help facilitate with that. So if we have anything in the realms of Kanoa, I can pass it back down to her, but she won't be joining us and giving us an update again until about June, unless we have something that we need to pull her in on.
Is the SMS data either with SeerNet or SmartWebs?
Yes. Okay. So where we left off with that is we had the ticket in with Serenet. They advised me that when residents have to go in, they're automatically checking off when they give their phone number that they're opting in at that moment. So that's why there's no opt-out option. I understand what they're saying. It's kind of like on the fence, whether it's necessary. Legally, it's not necessary to have the opt-out option, but it would be nice to possibly still include that. I do think SmartWebs, because they're utilizing that so kind of multiple aspects, whether it be through the violations and covenants, and also the way to sign up on SmartWebs, it's more of you give your information when you make your SmartWebs account. So we have more phone numbers readily available on SmartWebs. SmartWebs does not have, not that you want to go over the character limit, but it does have a little bit more wiggle room where we can do the message with the character limit and the signature wouldn't affect that message.
Okay.
And then that one also has your opportunity to be a little bit more precise. So for instance, in SmartWebs, it's a little easier where I can, if there's an emergency at North Village, I can choose North Village and just target it to that area. Whereas Serenet, it would just be to either Kanoa or to Croa. There's not easy segmenting. So I think SmartWebs, and I tested it. It was a little bit more user friendly. So for instance, if something was to happen to me or I'm not around, there's many staff are currently using SmartWebs and it's very quick and easy to understand, where the training that I got with Julia for the Serenet text message, I would definitely have to create like a detailed SOP with photos of how to access it and how to recreate it. Where the SmartWebs, I can just go, hey, go into communications, click text message and send your message. So it's definitely more user friendly for the SmartWebs.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that just based on the user experience and the fact that you're able to do the segmentation, which was something that was on the ask list, and that we already have more people opted in, it's a no, and there's no additional cost to it.
Yeah, and then I can also second to that with the campaign, which is the next step. We can kind of do a two-hitter with the campaign because we also want to campaign to all the residents to be on SmartWebs for the purpose of ARC applications and violations. That the messaging is, hey, make sure you're in SmartWebs, all your information's up to date, because SmartWebs is going to provide you with emergency communications, violations, and ARC applications. I don't know, but I can circle back with that department.
It's probably gonna be a requirement for the by bylaws. Some people don't see it. So they have to have but they don't have to have 3 notices, right? So maybe first notice or the second, somehow there's a way that we can recommend that they cut the expense by half or 75%. I don't know what we're spending on sending those letters. This stamp costs 50 cents or something.
I would have.
The time costs too of the staff
Time.
doing it, yeah.
Yeah, I think now with the smart webs, there's the time on the staff has been reduced because I believe it has like an automation where they send it, prints out. It's kind of reduced that. But I can ask if there's a possibility of like a opt-in for paperless.
You opt in to receive electronic correspondence, we're done.
Well, it's the basic realm of communication. You meet the person where they want to be met. And I know for me, I look at my mail, but I would much rather get an email or a text message anytime so I could immediately click the link, figure something out. We know there's people.
Oh, I would love a text message violation.
Yeah, if you'd be able to do a follow-up on like what it looks like that we'd be able to do like an opt-in for paperless or what's in the bylaws related to like serving paper copies, I think that would be a really good idea to streamline.
Sure.
Yeah.
Before, well, the bylaws require.
Mhm.
Okay, you're right, bylaws require.
It's 2025,
Right.
technology's taken over a lot of,
So, but then
Yeah.
maybe the answer from the board might be, well, the bylaws require, okay, well, then maybe our
Yeah.
job is to provide them some language, that's communications department, provide them some language, say, well, here's what we suggest to change the bylaws. Right?
yeah,
We can be proactive in giving the answer.
I think we can provide them language and as well as maybe a rough estimate of costs. Let's say if we do, what is the percentage of paperless opt-in most companies? And then from that percentage, we can calculate what is the cost on the print and the stamp. Yeah. Yeah,
But my point is,
we do.
yeah. I mean, three seems like a lot. My community doesn't give me 3. I get 1. Is it 3 letters only if you don't take action or you get 3 letters no matter what? Oh, okay. Oh,
You do because we accidentally got a piece of our neighbor's mail one time and that's what it was. They're like, oh, no big deal, like we took care of it. But yeah, there could be like upwards of like 4 to 5 pieces of mail
okay.
depending on, because also say hypothetically, you make the fix. You get inspected again, you didn't make the fix the way that they wanted, you start the cycle over.
Oh,
again.
okay.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. If we're able to show that we'd be able to cut down costs by like 75 to honestly 90% of people want paperless, that's a huge savings. And there's going to be some people who are still old school, but it's like,
Yeah.
let's give the people the option either way.
Yeah, I think if you provide kind of some numbers with that. But yeah, I'll definitely look into that and then report back at the next meeting, if we have a next meeting or through email.
Yeah, we should have, based on the timeline. of
Okay.
When elections are, if elections are at the beginning of March, we should have one final meeting in February.
Sounds good.
So. Hey,
Yeah, we have one more meeting. Yeah, we have one. more meeting.
Don't be so excited.
I'm having a party.
But yeah, and then with the SMF piece, a couple of quick follow-ups. If
Mhm.
you would be able to get like the volume of people who have actively opted in for smart webs
Okay.
based on like the total percentage of the community.
Of opt-in for X. Okay.
It's whoever the board, it's like you reapply, whoever the board hoops the wand on, yeah.
Or-
Yeah, we'll send out some reminders too of like when applications come due. Things like that.
Okay. I will get with that.
Cool.
All right.
Well, then, do you guys have any other questions on the status? I mean, for, once we get some of these like other ancillary things completed.
Yeah, because I have all the verbiage that you provided.
The verbiage, we have the SOP, all of those pieces have gone through the committee, and I think that
Yes.
that was something too that Jacob basically said, empowering you, not need to worry about the,
Mhm.
the board going through it, so. we can-
Oh, secondary to that is the emergency communications, but everything, do we have that finalized or do we need, where are we at with that?
Check finalization.
'Cause I know with everything going on, there's some concern. I mean, let's look at the world, you know, we're
Yeah.
new president, the fires, so it'd be nice to have just preemptively emergency communication plan.
We have the crisis comms plan that, and I see Doug, hi Doug, that we, had previously reviewed. I'll make sure that we've fully reviewed it. Everyone's taken like a final glance at it.
Okay.
Send it back over to you. guys.
Perfect.
That was another thing too that, I remember Jacob saying we can just pass along as
Yep.
a new like SOW or SOP versus having to send to the board.
Sounds good.
So I'll go over that tonight.
Okay.
All right. So moving along to resident badges.
Yes.
Employee, resident, tenant, and artisan.
I'm
park.
going to share my screen because we designed two. We have one that's a favorite, so you have a few more options with the favorite. So you can fully see what that would look like. So let me figure this out real quick. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. No, because I couldn't figure out how to work and Dom left for the day.
Technology.
You want me to go over there? All right, so we designed two options. Oh, I have paper options. So there's two options designed. The one with the more brackets of amongst management was more of the favorite. And that one, the reason that was a favorite was because as we have the option to change the color line.
So the favorite was the ones that have the picture bracket on the side.
Yes, because that one we could do a bar for resident and then a bar for tenant. So it's easily identifiable, and then the green bar for staff. They wanted the logo bigger because the original one, the logo was a little bit smaller. So when the staff are walking around, because right now, this is what we currently have right now.
Oh.
So that is what it is right now.
I mean, I do like the idea of the different colors and utilizing the brand colors to be able to delineate.
Yeah.
people. And then like for the perspective of like, there would be no additional printing cost, anything.
Nope, they were, from my understanding from the tech committee, is that they're working on getting, because the printer is either going on the way out or there's something with the printer. So there was talk of getting a new printer.
Okay.
And then when the talk of the new printer came into play, is when they were talking about now's the time to redesign if we're going to do a new printer, new cards. Because we have a lot of residents that have expired cards, or some cards. I think it's the dog park or one of the the dog park and Artisan. It's stickers that they put on it every year. So right now our badges don't have expiration dates. So the new badges would also have an expiration date where they would have to get employees and residents would have to get a new one.
Yeah. You get sticker over it and then the artist is this on the back.
Yeah. So they mentioned it being printed as opposed to stickers, because then when someone leaves, for instance, if my badge says expires 2027 and I'm no longer employee here, you can't, it's not like Disney where I know I have some friends that still use their badge and they haven't worked for Disney for quite some time because it's just color based. Correct. Tenant.
And yeah, and then I guess for Artisan Park, would it be?
Artisan will still have the sticker in the back.
Okay.
It would just maybe be a little bit of a smaller sticker or actual, we've talked about maybe even printing. Because we did change the if lost return to the back of the card on this one. So if you flip over your sample, because right now if it's lost, it's very difficult to read because it's really super tiny in the front. No, it probably could be owner. That was me drafting it up in a matter of 5 minutes for the tech here.
Tenants are technically resident.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be owner and it was just me drafting it up fairly quickly. Because I did this in a matter of the whole entire draft up of both. I had more. Yeah, correct.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think there might be one more, because I don't know of any of the businesses if they get a badge too. I'm not sure, but it's a possibility.
I mean, overall, I like the design. It's clean. New branding, so.
I like the details
Mhm.
about information. And I really like the expiration date.
Mhm.
It's very
Instead of the sticker, yeah.
It's very.
Well, what happens then? Give the badge every year.
No, I think it was 3 years, 5 years. I don't remember the term, but it would be a term badge. So,
I know for Artisan, we are annualized, like we have to get ours redone on an annual basis.
I think
I,
residents, saying,
yeah, I think so,
homeowners,
yeah.
so you gotta look
yeah,
at that stickers, which is not bad.
Yes.
As a, after the first one, so how do you, so once you have to get a renovation, you go through the cost, get a whole nother batch.
Yeah. The only thing I would recommend though with the stickers is like a different type than this, because mine looks like it says 2020 because it rubbed off.
what's your sticker in the front for?
So it's Artisan,
Yep.
and then this is the number sticker, but it literally looks like it says
So
2020.
so you get an artisan sticker in the front as well?
Yeah, we get, so right now, this is printed, it's not a sticker, it's
Okay.
really printed on the back. And I think that's mostly like a deterrent from like using.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, because we've had some issues with people using cars that were non-artisan residents, but yeah, the big thing is if you were to continue with the sticker, like mine, I didn't get that long ago and it's already faded, that you can't see the year expert.
The sticker in the front is for artisan as well. So you get printed on the back and then the sticker in the
Oh,
front.
there's no artisan.
So what is that sticker for?
The year, like mine, we got the sticker date for it updated.
Oh,
So
okay.
my original expiration was 2024, now it's 2026.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying, so that these cars, right, are printed. car.
Yeah.
They don't expire in the year.
Yeah, that doesn't really make sense. So I gotta see, I gotta find out about what's the specifications on the print lifetime. Cause I'm not sure about that. I know they asked me to put,
yeah, I really think. I feel like that's something too, to just kind of research, like what we would be able to do in terms of either expiration dates or, because I know if we had to
Okay,
reprint a
so I can
card.
show you, sorry.
On date, that's an expense.
This is what they're looking at, Doug. This is the first badge that I made.
So tech-
And then this is the one that was voted on as the more promising one. And this one has the option to do color changes.
So technically, the only sticker is the artist, or is the year sticker. So the date, so the artisan piece is actually fully
Yeah,
printed.
no, I was thinking about the year, but I'm thinking about the dog park. How do
So-
people, what happens with the dog?
Yeah, they call.
So, we don't have a call on ours, but we have dog park access, so that's a potential miss from town hall, but yeah, there's supposed to be like a paw print sticker. If you have dog park access, but it's one of those, when we went to get our new cards, if we asked about it, they were like, oh, we'll get back to you, and we never got a sticker, but we have dog parks. Yeah.
What was the dog park one? I'm sorry, I was showing Doug the.
Yeah, like if the stickers for the dog park, so we're technically supposed to have a paw print sticker on ours if we have dog park access. And that's basically meaning that you've given updated vaccinations, things like that.
I think the girls at Resident Services were asking us about that,
Yeah,
about adding that onto.
but I do know a lot of people who don't have it. Another thing too is, I know right now for Artisan that Bill, our manager, is able to print cards with the new printer with that, or not print cards, he's able to reactivate cards. That's something too, if we're getting things reprinted and modified, like how will that impact that? Because I know a lot of Artisan residents do go.
I think it's all the same system. I forgot the terminology, but I think they are talking to artisan and it's all the same system. So
Okay.
I'd say it's the technology committee
It's
spearheading.
also like the question though, of like, if they need, if we deciding what happens with stickers, things like that, like does Bill receive those as well for like, because he technically can't do dog park because he doesn't check vaccination record.
I see.
So that's just another follow-up too, of like streamlining that process a little bit.
Does the dog park, access, does that expire?
I
You have to
believe-
get it,
I believe it's supposed to expire on an annualized basis because you're supposed to get new vaccination.
okay, but not at the same time as when your card expires or?
Technically, it should, so the date, so that's a really good question too.
Yeah.
Because I know when we first moved in 2020, we provided vaccination records the same time that we provided all of our other information and got dog park access the same day.
But if someone were.
But if
to
someone
get
gets a dog 5 months later, so yeah, I think that that's a good question too, of like, when would that roll in?
Cause then we do have to have it reprinted
Right,
2 times a year.
yeah, that's a good question
All right.
to add to, it's just dog park.
I'll inquire with them and report back. Once,
Does everybody know the rules? rules of use of the artisan restaurant, not the club, the restaurant. Is it open to just artisan or?
Just artisan, if you come as a guest, you're welcome to come as a guest. You're also welcome to come, so I believe it's still the same, like you can only have like per person, like a certain number of guests, but like if you wanted to come to the restaurant or you wanted to come to an event, if you go with a resident of Artisan Park, you're more than welcome.
I think the restaurant said, or come here,
I would.
so just to use the restaurant.
That is an off the record convo, we can have some.
I think the only issue is that segues into people trying to get access to other items, because I did work at a resort where we had a restaurant and then there was like a pool, and then they would utilize the restaurant as their way to get access to the other things, but yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the badges, I'll find out all that information about the badges, let them know that, the option that the management like, that you guys as well like, and then I'll get some answers as to the questions with the stickers and the printing and, all those inquiry questions in regards to the badges.
I just.
I like the design, I know it opens up a can of worms, but with all the changes and everything, but well done, looks good.
Yeah, I think the main focus of it was just easily identifiable, something when staff or residents or anyone's walking, you don't have to, because right now you're not going to know anything that's on this besides the two lines from a distance. So we wanted something that as I'm walking up to you, it's a little bit identifiable from a distance.
I mean, I know that's how it is with a lot of places that you go to, like, I know working in theme parks, like, we all have different colors and things on our badges based on like, if you're management, leadership, in park ops, things like that. So I think it's a great idea because then it's much more visible.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
like my badge looks significantly different than someone who's in operations. That's like,
Yeah, well, we'll see if I need to segment it more, but for right now, that's what we were looking at. Okay, next.
anyone else have anything? I know
sorry.
Doug, online, do you have anything?
You said,
Nope. Silence is golden. Okay. So then on to the magazine.
so magazine, okay, so I drafted up some options, and it's more of a starting point since we haven't really done too much of what we think should change. So on our end, we did start with changing a few little things in the magazine. We haven't changed anything visually, so that's what I have today, is some options that we can submit to the publisher as a starting point. And none of it is set in stone. It was just us throwing some ideas out. First would be a couple of different magazine cover options. Kind of just changing up the white square and the way the text is. Just kind of throwing it out there. If there's anything that stands out to you, or if you have any questions.
I know we're gonna end up going through like the rebrand of
Mhm.
like with the different fonts and things like that. But like, where did you get some of the fonts from?
So all this font is, I think I used all the same font. Or no, I used two fonts primarily. So the brand font that was suggested from that is the Poppins. And then I use League Spartan because it was similar to Poppins, but not as thick. And I think back here, and then, so kind of I try to stay, the Poppins one was the first one, and I noticed that it just gets very clunky. So I was trying to get that similar look to Poppins with a little bit less. And just throwing ideas. Honestly, none of these are like set in stone. It was just trying to show you a couple different ideas for a cover, as maybe some options that we can maybe change. And then second to that, maybe a different view of a table of contents, which I was trying to avoid. When I reached out to the publisher, I felt the reluctance of change, and I got a vibe that they weren't really liking that we were talking about changing and rebranding. So I kind of tackled this with more of just a refresh. So not really changing the magazine as a whole, just maybe changing some colors and the table of contents. So very minimal change, because once we get into rebrand, the magazine wants a full document of what the wish list is with a breakdown, because they want to charge us and want to know what we want so they can cost it out. So my hope is with not really changing anything and just asking for small little colors or fonts, that hopefully we can avoid any cost and have a little bit of a newer look And the last thing is the tabs. Yes.
I get that funds some of the activity too, so. But then there was some talk about adding some elements of, interest. Articles that would be more relevant, because I don't know about you, but again, the most important thing in that magazine for me is the calendar.
Mhm.
Which is a better one.
Yeah.
I will say the last issue, Belinda did a really solid article that I actually read the whole. Which I feel like is heading in the right direction of more community focus versus solely sales. And I know there was a couple of other contributed articles, and there's a few places too of mentioning like, if you want to contribute, here's how to.
And I have received a couple things already.
Oh, good.
Yeah, except on that, I wasn't gonna say. That's encouraging young leaders.
I have one next in February's. Yeah.
But yeah, reaching out, high school,
Mhm.
say they want to release these articles. So then we gotta have some kind of way of vetting them, obviously, because you can't publish everything. So, but I think it'd be kind of cool to see, to encourage some young leaders, all ages.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm trying to get this. I'm gonna stop sharing for a quick second, Doug, just so I can show the magazine. Cause
Do we also know, like hypothetically, like if we were to send over, the cover and table of contents and like other pages, like what they would charge to actually implement those changes? Because I know that they'll probably want like working files and.
so
things
no,
that we can't provide.
no, I don't know. They left it as send me your wish list and we will send you the cost. That's where the conversation was left off. So for right now, we're a team of two. We don't actually have the manpower to fully change the magazine anyways. So I figured the cover is one, the table of contents two, and then just the way she does the division of the groupings of the items submitted, that would be the most feasible, like on taking. And also in hopes that they wouldn't charge, because we submit the cover ourselves. So all she does every month is put the image in and she uses the same format.
So bluntly, what they're doing is a typical agency move where they want you to basically provide all the mock-ups and everything before they provide an SOW.
Yeah.
And then they'll just use yours and they'll make minor modifications. I think that this is something maybe to Lou, Jacob, or Lauren, or someone in us saying like, hey, these are the things that we would like to change. Give us a ballpark so that we could even decide if it's worthwhile, because changing the cover and table of contents would be nice from a brand perspective, but it probably won't change much from like the whole community, like the stuff you're doing inside of it, I think is gonna be
Yeah.
greater value. And even like the reorientation of pages might be a greater value, especially if they come back with what I'm assuming is gonna be a really high price
Yeah.
to edit it.
And
Yeah.
from the reluctance I got on the phone, I can feel it. So that's why I was like, okay, how do we retackle it? So I'm sharing my screen now. This was kind of the breakdown. I did a one-page article of what I hope to change in it and what I hope to see. So that was kind of the opening. And I did get, we have an article from a young writer about AI and art. So she put in a prompt to the AI and then she drew what her prompt meant to her and what AI gave, and gave a quick description on why the AI is lacking any creativity and why the person is still important. And then we did our first business spotlight. So it's going to be on Bakery Boys, because they started at the same time as me. So I kind of have a little friendship. So it made it a little easier to use them as my first test subject for the business spotlight. And then monthly, we're going to go around to each district. So February, we did Bakery Boys. March, we're going to be reaching out, I'm hoping, to Mulligan's in Watertown to coincide with St. Pat's. And then April, I think we're doing Scoops, I think. I have a calendar of who we're doing. That's going to be a little bit on if they request for a spotlight or if we have something that aligns with it, because we only have 12 months. And then periodically, we'll have spotlights that cover a few businesses. So for the January issue, I forgot where I had it, was the article that Janine mentioned about the New Year's resolution. So this one was a spotlight that I did about 15 New Year's resolutions, and it covered multiple businesses. So it was an example is, stay active by joining a gym class at Orange Theory Fitness or Pure Barre or X Factor. So I was able to name a few businesses or clubs. So I hope to also do that occasionally as well, where we'll just do one article covering a few businesses to kind of get a few more in there. And I'm still navigating how to change it a little bit more magazine with the submissions that we still get. We still have a lot of like plug and play submissions. And that was the feedback. And I'm kind of working on how we navigate that. And then there's months where we don't have as much wiggle room. For instance, when we do the candidates, there's predetermined pages that are assigned for that. So that's where we're at with the magazine. I will definitely get with Jacob and Lauren to email to see if the publisher be willing to give us, if we mention the pages we hope to change, a ballpark price so we can move forward with that.
I mean, I know we had, again, a really robust conversation in December to the changes that have already been made is a job well done. I know there's more that you want to do and there's more that we would like to see, but it already felt like a little bit more community oriented. And I think that there's needs for it to continue to go that route, but
Yeah.
it's at least a good step in the right direction. I actually read it this time.
Thank you.
I miss the last meeting. Sorry, because I really like to talk about the magazine and I think we have to think about what we want in the magazine, especially in this point that we are going to change it. Little changes that not contribute in the spirit of a magazine. So if you think to change, just think about a big change because it's a very dearly instrument of our community, but it's very dated and the contents are. I have some, for example, I have the passport from Winter Park, and this is a professional and very useful instrument.
Yeah.
So for touch, an instrument that is very old, we have to do it very carefully because touching, palms and everything is going to all move something, and sometimes with no purpose. We
Yeah.
have to think about in all the magazine, and maybe we can do it in special touching this special instrument and think it very carefully about our changes. For example, I love this magazine on Winter Park, and you see there is no pictures, this is part of Winter Park, it's art.
Do they have an online version that can view that?
I don't know.
Okay.
But it's talking about all the restaurants. We don't see.
Yeah.
We don't see advertising. We don't see one over and over. I don't know if this is monthly, but even if it's not monthly, maybe it's 3 months. It's more interesting to do an instrument like that.
Yeah.
Very good pictures, very good articles.
Yeah.
But we need some professional to do it.
I think that's where the real issue comes into play, or not issue, but the more difficulty, because after speaking, when the meeting ended last week, I quickly did a run through of like the calendar, and I would say about 30% of my month goes to the magazine, and I'm only one person. When you look at some of these other magazines from successful communities, for instance, Winter Park, Horizon, it's a team. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Stories they're missing a lot because celebration is not plastic surgery or no advertising. you know, that. For example, this is the Lady Nona magazine,
Whoa, that's big.
That is a huge.
Yeah.
and because this is your face,
Yeah.
and they are talking about Lady Nona. They have a lot of advertising, but just very interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think part of what I noticed too with our publisher, but I mean, then we go down the rabbit hole of publishers, which we spoke about too, because I saw in some of our documents that it has been priced out before seeking other publishers. Our publisher uses a very kind of plug and play. So the artwork, they have a page and they just take the advertisement from the vendors, which also sometimes cause it to look very, stale, but I don't know what the solution is because there is a lot of man hours that goes into the magazine. And in order to do it justice and do it right, it would require a lot more. So I'm not sure as to what the next steps are with that.
Just thinking about what we are going to do with the contents, planning, writing all the agenda, scheduling, and tell all the people that it's going to.
Yeah. I think that's where the communication aspect would be crucial because in order to change the contents, some people would have to go. I mean, I don't know any other way. We have a lot of submissions that could be a blog post or maybe could be utilized somewhere else, but they count on the magazine space. And I don't want to not give them something that they've had for so long and that they count on, whether it be for their nonprofit or for their organization. So it's a little bit more than changing the contents because we have to kind of tread lightly with who's currently in there. Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can think about contents, articles, putting the advertising in some better place, changing a little. Not all of the magazine, but just making the magazine more interesting.
Yeah.
More professional.
Here, but maybe a follow-up recommendation on this. And we talked about this last time as well. Magazine needs to represent our community, not as it is, but as we want the community to be. This community needs to have a revival. I've said that before. I don't know what we're hoping. Thank you, but we're looking old, we're feeling old. The community is aging clearly, and you can feel it, you can sense it, you can see it.
Yeah.
So this community is ripe for revival. Now that is not just the magazine. Magazine is one portion, and I think we need a fresh thinking board that really says, how do we drive a whole revival and a gentrification, if I can use that word, of our town? Because we just look like what we are, a 30-plus-year-old community, where the investment maybe hasn't been quite where it should be and what it should be and how it should be. And frankly, our HOAs are reflective of that. Our HOAs are the lowest they are from any community in town, in the area. So we have to rethink that. So I think it's a bigger situation. Board needs to take it up as a revival. And then the magazine might be a vehicle, like the word used, to create that new image, that new impression, that new feeling. Because it's old and tired. I've seen the same standard magazine that's something I've resided in. So and it's old fashioned and it's old. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's reflective of who we are today. We want to be somebody else, and it's going to have to take a whole different mindset.
Yeah. And I think I think the magazine really, in order for it to take a whole nother direction, it almost needs to not be, I don't know if that's even a possibility, but it almost needs to not be the HOA's like responsibility. I think it's never really going to be able to go where it needs to go until it's its own entity. For now, it's going to kind of continue to be this way because It's not, if the way, what you're talking about doing is great, Fabiola, and if I was the publisher and I was the one mapping it out and designing it, we can make those changes. But it really is based on, XYZ sends me their submission. I read over their submission to make sure that there's no grammatical errors and that it works. And then I send it off to the publisher and they put it where it needs to go. Then at the end of the month or, mid-month, they send me draft 1. And I just make sure it all looks good. And yeah,
I mean, something you could do too, because I know that, like you said, there's a lot of pages that are copy paste. They repeat every single month. I know we've talked previously about digitizing certain areas of it. Go through the magazine, and as annoying as it is, page by page, you see like, what are the mandatories that we have to have for whatever reason, and then start stripping pages. And there's, like Fabiola said, we're not necessarily cutting anything, but we can figure out more creative ways to give the information that needs to be there so that then we have more space for additional pieces. Because I know
yeah,
it's the same thing consistently. Like I know all the different organizations have like their times and like their descriptions of what Celebration Aquatics is. That's great. But we see that every month. It's redundant at this point. That could be something that could almost be moved over to the website. We scan this QR code or go to this URL and you could find out all this like standard information. And then for you guys too, if an organization leaves, it's not having to update it in the magazine and go
Yeah.
through and comb through its deletions from the website. Like,
then maybe in our next meeting, we can just maybe comb through a magazine. And because I think what we need help with is the verbiage that we provide to these organizations that are getting transitioned to online, because none of them want to give up their spot in the magazine.
but what you can tangibly tell them though, is we can't tell them how many people actually actively open and view the magazine. You can show how many people go to a landing page.
Yeah,
It's like you can actually show them, we're being able to tangibly get traffic to information instead of like most of us do. We open the magazine, we sit on the counter for a few days and it goes in the recycling.
yeah,
So it's just changing mindset also of, like I said, like we're in a different spot of like where owners want to see communications and where just residents in general want to see communications. We clearly saw that people wanted text messaging. That's a very modern thing for a lot of
Mhm.
people. So,
And maybe we are giving all the community an instrument that they want to change, you know,
Mhm.
because I hear it all the time, all the magazines, all the same, all the times. What about if we, the next meeting, we read the magazine and we cut it and we reorganize it? And then we are going to see page to page what we need to change. And then we can make a letter or communication saying we need to change this lovely instrument.
yeah.
We are working about that, so they are going to know that it's going to change.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll get with my team and see which pages in there are like the CROA's town hall management, which pages are non-negotiables from the association standpoint, and then see what pages we're left with. Because I would take away our HOA paper, our pages that belong to the association, take away all the pages that the publisher keeps for themselves for advertisements, and then I'll bring what pages are left, and then we can look at that. So we're not looking at the entire magazine. And then we. No, we cut them down. I mean, they're down now, I think,
it's
until
like 3 pages.
3 pages now, yeah.
I remember one.
Yeah.
But they also, I know that there was some debate before you started about like them specifically utilization wise. And I think that that's a broader conversation too of the different community organizations and
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that it's a great idea to go through it and basically line it, because I have a feeling you're going to ask the publisher about streamlining or changing design, things like that, and it's going to come at a heavy cost. So what can we actually do to mitigate that? So when you send things over, we're not having to worry about paying for something that is probably not gonna have any tangible ROI for us.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds good. And then I have one last quick thing, and this is more for like support of me. Right now I manage all the committee meetings as well as the board meetings, meaning I post all their agendas onto the website. I post all the videos onto the website. I make sure that they're listed everywhere that you need to find them, as well as the links. Right now, when I get a meeting notification, I have to post it on the town hall meeting desk calendar. Then I have to post it on the event calendar. Then I have to post it on the meeting information calendar. So what I'm hoping to do, and I talked to the web developer that I started working with, is that when I post an event on the event calendar, it will auto-populate to the meeting information page. So that's one less thing that I have to post on. But that will change the way that it looks for everyone that accesses the meeting event page now. So I have a sample test page that the web developer made for me, and it looks different. Does anyone access the meeting information page now?
Yes.
Okay,
And I know that has been something that people complain about consistently, because also when you go on mobile, it stacks things almost sideways.
yeah.
Yeah.
So not only that, but then I have some owners that prefer to access meetings in there. And then sometimes, since I am doing all the committee meetings and all the board meetings, I'll forget. That one's the more important one, because that one is where it has the time and the links. Where the one on the event calendar is more just informational. You'll just see the date, time, and location. It doesn't have anything else. So there was a time where I did miss posting it onto that event calendar, but it was posted everywhere else. And I just don't want to make those kind of mistakes. So this is what it would look like now if we were to do it. Sorry. So it would look like this. And then when they click on it, and I can change the way it appears. I can have it where it already shows, or there's different options on how you can view it. Then that's where, in this area where it says event details, is where you would get the meeting link and some of the details.
Can you send this link to all of us to test it on mobile? I think it looks good on desktop, but I know a lot of people's biggest complaint was mobile rendering.
So I can try, but it's a test page, so it's not actually viewable by the public. Can you click? Let me see. I can send it to you. Let me send it.
It does look like it's different.
Oh, wait, if you're signed into your, never mind. Yes, if you're signed,
It's an unlisted page, though, because it doesn't look like it's sitting on a staging link.
okay. So there's different options to design it. I guess my thing is that something that we can look, like I can have them build it out maybe to be a full sample page. Only because it's a lot. They're not in charge so there's a gray area between IT and me, which is anything website related. Our IT does not handle the website. I am the full website person.
And the TLDR of that was basically the tech committee and IT previously had really held on to the website, and they decided, because most of the things that were going on website related were more comms related versus tech related, that it should focus on whoever is the yeah.
And wouldn't we be able to go back and say, guys, we have a tech meeting. Develop this.
So I know typically when they've hired for the IT director or IT manager position, they have not looked for somebody with WordPress experience.
Yeah, our IT,
Yeah.
no one has.
All of the things that have ever really been done that have been WordPress related, that have not been done by like our developers, have been done by volunteers.
So it should be a pretty simple exercise in that. To be able to justify whatever the expense. So you say, hey, give me a expense proposal as to how much it's gonna cost to do this, right? I'll pick it up, 10,000. I don't know what's gonna cost, whatever. But now you're working, you just reduced 15, 20, 30 minutes a day. I don't know how much.
Oh, it's free. That's free. There's no cost to do that.
Doing the, so yeah. Sign up.
No, I just need that's the transition to that is free. It's a matter of, I was told to bring it up to your attention to see if we could do it and what that communication would look like, because we'd be changing the way it would look to the board members. So it's just a matter of the time it's going to save me. There's no cost to actually transition to that.
It's included in the vendor contract for the.
Yeah, so what we did was, with the approval from the IT director, we did get a 6-month service plan for me while we transition everything on the website, because I can do, so the service plan does not the way the service plan works is when we get to something on the website that I can't do, which is usually like coding or if something breaks, then the web developer is who does that. So the service plan gets us reduced costs in case we need the web developer. Because otherwise, before, if I needed the web developer for like a 5-minute fix that I couldn't figure out after Googling and everything else, they would charge me like $300 for an hour. So now we have a service plan where they only charge out of reduced rate and at half an hour increments. So once I get to that roadblock of I can't service the website because it's out of my expertise. Yeah, it's not a contract. It was like a service plan edition, so I can send you that. Yeah. But that went through the IT committee. Yeah.
Let them know that it- it changed.
Okay.
Here's the way the change is gonna look. I would do it. Effective, more cost effective, and all it's gonna mean is you're gonna have to change. And you have to train them
Okay.
on how they do it, right? Because if all we're talking about is changing how I do something electronically,
I mean, bluntly, it works perfectly on mobile rendering. This is something that is going to make things a lot easier. I firmly agree with
but
that.
I'm
Yeah.
not asking them for permission.
Yeah,
Okay.
just say we're going
I
to
said,
change
we're
it.
gonna make this change effective, pick a date.
Yeah.
Here's the reason.
Yeah. So the only difference is that blah, blah, blah text that you see, the developer gave me code that hides it on the event calendar. So when I put it on the event calendar, anyone in the public cannot see that blah, blah, blah text. And then when you go on the meeting information page, that code makes it visible there. But then I only have to post it in one spot and it delivers to the multiple channels.
So I do some web development stuff. If you want any guidance too on like creating documentation for this too, let me know. But yeah, I agree with Tony. Just tell them, this is what we're changing it to. This is the reason we're changing it. This is the date it's gonna go effective.
Okay.
No one's going to complain about something that is much easier. to
Okay.
use. If they do complain, we can give you some talking points.
Okay.
Let us know the answer, we'll go.
Yeah, no, it looks good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Then I know we don't have any owners here, besides the committee, so, does anyone have any other comments or anything else? Think of any other productive discussion?
No.
All right, then I will take a motion to adjourn.
So,
Second?
Yes.
Okay, then all those in favor? Aye, so we are adjourned at 6:57. And then I believe our next meeting, we should have one more, will be 3rd.
Yes.
Yeah,
February 3rd.
February 3rd, so we'll see you guys then.
Thank you. Bye.
See you later.
Cool.